Hi everyone, this is Meeta, and today I'd like to introduce my latest version of my rental tracker for multifamily and single family homes. This comes included with 48 properties, inclusive of units within those buildings, and it has a bunch of features. It can now give you the balance due for each property. It also has a rent due tracker, a taxes due tracker, an insurance due tracker, a maintenance schedule, as well as a vendor list for 50 vendors, and it now has 60 expense categories. So let's see how this works. Hi everyone, this is Meeta, and today I'd like to go over my rental income and expense tracker for multi-unit properties and single-family properties. It comes included with 48 properties, inclusive of apartment units within those properties. It has 9 income categories and 60 expense categories, and all of these categories can be changed simply by going in and typing over them. For example, let's change this to other income 12. And say for the expenses, we can just go in and change to pool expenses. We also have a vendor settings tab, and this comes included with 50 vendors. You can change the names of the vendors, like for example, let's change this to Home Depot. And you can put in a contact person's name and all of their contact information. All of the other vendor names can also be changed. Say for example, you have your electricity company, PSEG, and any other vendors that you use. Now we come to the property settings tab. This is where you would list out all of your properties. This is where you would enter the property address. Say for example, it's 5721 Apple Street, and you would enter a corresponding property code. We are keeping this short so that it looks neat and fits into the columns of the dashboard. The property address can be as long as you like. As you can notice, this property list comes with a certain configuration. Some properties have 5 apartment units. For example, this building has apartment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another one has like about 4 units. Another one has 3. You would just send me your property configuration and I would set it up for you completely free. It comes included with the purchase of the spreadsheet. The property settings tab is also very useful for you to enter any information you like about your properties. You can enter the rent, the tenant name, start date, renewal date of the lease, any deposit you've received, any notes you'd like has a pet. There's also a very neat rent due date feature included. For example, I'm recording this on November 6th. Say the rent due was November 1st. As you can see, it shows you automatically that the days overdue is 5. Now, if the rent due was on November 10th, the number of days is 0 that it is overdue, and it's white. Say the rent is due on November 3rd, you will see that the days overdue is 3 and it stays red. Let's look at the dashboard. There are actually 2 dashboards. One is for each property, whether it be a multi-unit property or a single family property. It summarizes for each property. And the second one is for each unit in each property. And both the dashboards give you a complete breakdown of all of your income, expenses, and profit by month, year to date, by income category, expense category, and you also have a graph at the bottom. So you get a summary of all of your properties as well as a bird's eye view of all of your units across all of your properties. Next we come to the balance due tab. This automatically summarizes for you any income pending from any of your properties. Now we come to the individual property tabs. Each property has its own tab. This implies each apartment unit has its own tab. For example, apartments 1, 2, 3, 4 in building 5721 Apple Street each have their own tabs, and the building 5721 Apple Street also has its own tab. to record expenses like landscaping or plumbing that would be relevant to the building as a whole and cannot be allocated to individual apartments. Now let's look at a transaction for an apartment. Let's say that this person has rent due on February 2nd. We enter the date and the amount of the rent, say, is $700. We go and choose the category from the drop down menu and say the person paid it on February 2 and she didn't pay the full 700, she paid 500 instead. We enter 500 and as you can see, this is a difference of $200 plus we already had $100 due from before, from the previous month. So now the total balance due is $300. Say this person came back on February 10th and paid up $250. So now the balance due comes down to $50. Now let's look at an expense transaction. If you go over to the right over here, you will find the expenses section. So let's enter a date, say February 2nd, and we have, say, some repairs that we did and it cost us $150, and say we went to Ace Hardware and purchased some equipment and we put that in our notes. And you will notice that the total expenses get summed up over here. The total income gets summed up over here, and in the mini dashboard up here as well, you get the total income and expenses per month. There is also a taxes due tab where you can record the tax due date for each of your properties, and depending on how many days are remaining, you're going to get this highlighted in colors, and it will also show you the number of days remaining. So say your tax due is November 15th, the number of days remaining is 9. You can put in whatever is the tax amount due and how much you've paid, and it'll automatically show you the balance due. Say your tax due date is actually December 10th. You will see that the color changes because it's still quite some time to come. Now we also have an insurance due section which works similarly to the tax due section, and over here if your insurance due date goes over, then it will show you the number of days it's overdue and will also color code it. Then we have a maintenance section where you have you can maintain the schedule for all of your apartments. There's already a list of the different maintenance schedules that are possible for the different seasons and for year-round building maintenance. All of these can be changed as you like by simply going in and typing in as you wish. I hope you found this video useful. I will be leaving a link to the spreadsheet in the description and comment section below. Do please leave me your comments and questions. I hope you subscribe to my channel so you can see more of my videos. And thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch you on my next video.